All right, everybody. Thanks for making it through week one. We're going to start week two now. See, times are flying. I'll get everything graded and posted as soon as I figure out how to do that. Cut me some slack. All right, I just started. All right, so for week two, I have a special treat. I've tracked down two abnormal things in their home environment, and we're going to go take a peek at them. Come with me. So they're easy to track. You just follow the trail of crap. Clothes and food. Look. Here they are. This is what they do all the time. Just all the time. This little device in their hand, they're constantly watching it and talking to it and pushing buttons on it. Oh, Jesus. All right, on a serious note though, for week two. So for week two, we're looking at how changes in DSM impacted clinical diagnosis for homosexuality and PTSD. I kind of alluded to that in my week one announcement, the typed one. So I use as an example anyway. So homosexuality has changed dramatically. Public perception in the last 20, 30, 40 years has gone from taboo to generally pretty well accepted. And then PTSD, again, that has come into the limelight because of all the conflict in the Middle East and a lot of the soldiers that have come back with negative experiences. So it's been around forever, but it's been more prevalent and more studied and more researched and talked about in the last couple of decades. So how has the field of mental health changed as a result of the current concepts of those two things? So we talked about normality, and things shift and change, and societies change their notion of what is acceptable and normal and not normal. So how have these two specific things factored in? What is the impact of clinical practice because of these changes? So as a clinician, how do you think that would affect you? If you're a 90-year-old clinician and you've been preaching, homosexuality is a sin to your secular patients, how do you adapt to that? How do you go from you used to diagnose people as this is a mental illness to, well, now it's no longer a mental illness? As a clinician, from that perspective, how might that change things? So we have to set aside our own personal prejudices. Prejudice, is there a plural way to say that other than prejudices? Anyway, we have to set those aside for a little while and, be a professional. Finally, the programmatic themes: self-care, social justice, emotional intelligence, career connections, and ethics. Pick some of those and talk about that. Apparently I didn't know this, that's an ongoing thing for you guys in other classes. Who knew? So one thing that I do want to mention, I don't know if you've ever heard the term academic voice, but let's try to work on finding our academic voice. It's one thing to talk kind of colloquially, you speak, the way that you would text a buddy, and I get that, all right? And I want this class to be informal, obviously. I don't take anything very seriously, so I'm fine with that. But at the same time, let's show that we have the ability to write formally. So, in a perfect world, we'll be able to do both. And you might see a few people did it exceptionally well, where when they're talking about the subject, they will speak very academically, very eloquently, proper punctuation, proper grammar, spelling. Their sentences are structured well, and then they might pepper in a little bit of funny, ha ha ha, this happened to me the other day, and that's perfect. Actually, I like that for my style. I don't want everything to be strictly formal and over the top. It doesn't have to be that much, but also let's not have all of our posts have JK, LOL, LMAO, all that kind of stuff written into our posts with no periods and no capital letters and a misspelled word every fifth word. You don't want to graduate and have a college degree and not be able to write sentences that are proper. You know what I mean? So let's work on that going forward. Let's try to have mix it up, have a little bit of both. I'm fine with that, but let's prove to ourselves and those reading it that we can speak formally, academically. Believe it or not, I own a suit and I can put on a bow tie and I can be the professor and all that kind of stuff. I like to do these in my PJs. So anyways, See you guys for week 2. Text me if you have any questions.